I can't breathe. Honestly, friends turn enemies.
What is y'all doing?
Jealousy.
It's not 333. I think what has to happen in Madison Garden is after reviewing the footage and seeing how multiple incidents took place.
Hey, watch out!
Really seem different. Everything that I was raised on, like honesty and integrity, start disappearing. You gotta watch what you be doing to guys shivering.
So I hope y'all enjoy that song, and strong shout out to the Gone and Never Forgotten. But unfortunately, I got some bad news as we monitor the streets of LA. These officers, these deputies are on a shooting rampage. Just last Saturday during the Grammys, a shooting occurred on the 600 block of 7th Street. The officers were responding to a report of an assault with a deadly weapon call. And when they arrived at the scene, the police alleged that possibly the man was intoxicated, in which he wasn't. And the man was armed with a stick and was threatening employees of a manufacturing business. The arriving officers arrived at the scene and encountered Jason and deployed less lethal munitions prior to shooting him. Police and paramedics then took Jason to the hospital where he succumbed from his injuries, and no other details at this time. Now, this was during the Grammy, so a lot of people didn't really chime into this officer-involved shooting because they were so busy covering the Grammys. I myself was the only reporter at the scene and asked questions of, was he African-American? Was he Latino? Can I have you say and spell your name and your title, please?
Sure. I'm Leticia Ruiz. It's Letisia, last name R-U-I-Z. I'm the lieutenant at Media Relations Division for the Los Angeles Police Department.
What happened here today, Lieutenant?
So today around 2:14 p.m., officers received a radio call of a man armed with a stick at the 800 block of 7th Street. And when the officers arrived, they met a suspect on the 4th floor, and then officer-involved shooting occurred. There was less lethal munition that was deployed. The sequence of events is unknown at this time. The suspect was struck by gunfire, and LA City Fire Department paramedics responded and transported the suspect to a local hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. There was one officer that sustained a minor laceration to the hand. It isn't known at this time how it was sustained. However, the officer was treated at scene by paramedics as well.
So was there only one suspect or two involved in this
At this time, we have very preliminary information that only one person was involved.
Okay, and all officers are accounted for. Obviously, that one that was injured. Could you tell us his condition?
He's sustained non-life-threatening injuries at this time, minor laceration to the hand, treated at scene.
Now, would you say that the maybe 5150 call, or have you been called to this residence before, or anything?
That we know of. Right now, there was only one radio call that was generated. The radio call did make comments that the subject was probably under the influence. However, it is unknown at this time. We cannot confirm that information as of yet. That will probably have to, go through toxicology report.
Thank you. Now, anything you want to add? Anybody with any information? Who to call?
Yes, if anybody, saw this incident, has any information of this incident, they can always call Media Relations Division at 213-486-5910, and we can transfer them to the appropriate entity who is investigating, in this case, Force Investigation Division, who is here at scene. As you can see, around here we have a pretty large perimeter, and this area will be impacted for several hours.
Thank you. But upon the identity being identified by the coroner's office, he turned out to be a male Caucasian, which on A Million Hits, majority of, the shootings that most law enforcement are doing are on African Americans and Latino. It really struck me to say, well, what do I do now? Because this family still needs justice. This family wants to know what happened. How do you proceed? because it's not the Black Lives Matter movement. It's not the Brown Lives Matter. This is basically a male Caucasian shot. And then I realized, well, there were black people and white people and Black Lives Matter protesting together. There is Mr. Checkpoint, who's always on the forefront of our issues, male Caucasian. There is Cliff from Community Control of the Police. What would they do? They would further their investigation and push even more, because even though we thought he was Latino or African American and it came out that he wasn't, his family still deserves answers. They deserve a protest. They deserve a press conference. There was an attorney down there who was helping based off of the fact that, you know, justice has to be served, and he's a white male himself. And he was very informative, just helping, not even knowing the color of the person. We all assumed this was going to be a black or brown person. So here on A Million Hits, this might be the first time I ever really cover a story like this, to basically cross over to help this family who is dealing with a 36-year-old man shot, who had mental illness, who didn't hurt a soul. He loved his grandma. He cared for his grandma's grandfather. And I myself talked with his dad over the phone, who expressed he wouldn't hurt a soul, along with his brother. And these are some of the pictures that, you know, show that, you know, at one point in our lives that we could be in, that everything is going right. And then all of a sudden you get that phone call. And just talking with his dad, I can hear it in his voice that he was very confused, very distraught. And I remember when the police shot my cousin, you know, Dante Williams. And, you know, I know the feeling. You know, what do you do? This is a machine that you have to get answers from. So basically, we've been trying to get the video footage from Alana, who is obviously the owner of the business, who gave a copy of the tape to LAPD, but is, you know, not cooperating with the family at this particular time. And there is a press conference that we're trying to do along with community activists to get Jason the justice and the answers, and to appeal to organizations who deal with mental illness. It doesn't matter. You know, at this point, we want the video to be released. We want answers. And we obviously want justice for Jason going and never forgotten. Peace.